Hi guys, and welcome to the lesson number 2. Today we're going to learn how to do some painting using your hands. We are going to use some tracing and we are doing some palm painting as well. So let's have some fun. First of all, what we need for this lesson is 5 pieces of paper. We can either use the big piece of paper as we did before, or we can cut it in half and create 5 smaller pieces. You can do it by using one of the paper cutters or simply using your scissors. Take the big piece of paper, fold it in half, mark your little spot of the middle, take your pencil, put a little line. You can either put it all the way across if you're using your scissors. I'm just quickly going to cut it on my paper cutter. And now we will have 5 pieces of paper. So we are going to do 5 paintings today. So let's get started. Alright guys, so painting number 1, we are going to learn how to make a snail using your hand. What we need to do is take your hand and fold it like so, place it on the paper and trace around it. Use your pencil to go all the way around your hand, your fingers, and back again. Ta-da! That's not a snail yet, but we will make it happen. So what we need to do to create a snail out of your hand is to change the shape slightly. This is going to be the head of the snail. So we can create a little eye. We can create little antennas right here. Here we go. And this is going to be the rest of the body of the snail. So instead of having this part of the hand, we're going to close it off on the bottom and extend slightly to create a little snail tail. Use your eraser to take away the excess little lines, which we're not gonna need. Put it away. Now to create a little spiral little shell of the snail, we will close off the snail's body from the top to the bottom where the little tail is, and we will create a little spiral. To create a spiral shell, we'll start from the middle and create a little spiral going around to here. This will be a funky little snail. Okay, now that we have the drawing of the snail, we are going to use some colors. Let's make the body of the snail yellow. Let's pop a little bit of yellow on my plate, and you put on your plate. So we're going to create yellow body for the snail. Let's take one of the smaller brushes. Make sure the brush is a little bit dry. This is my color from lesson number 1 still. Let's wipe it right off. Let's use a little bit of yellow and pop it on the snail. Let's try to stay in the lines of the snail and just trace it all around the edges of the snail. It's pretty cool that you can make all different animals just using the shape of your hand. Now when you get to the eye part, just get a little bit closer so we don't paint the actual eye. Here we go. My little snail antennas, as I call them, are tiny, so I'm just gonna draw them a little bit. Try to stay in the lines. And here we go. Our thumb snail body is ready. Wash our brush and we'll create some multicolored snail shell. We'll dry off our brush again and let's create some multicolors. So what colors are we gonna choose? We've got some primary colors here, as you know, from the lesson 1. We'll put some red. Let's get a little bit of red there. Let's get some blue. Yep, now that we have our primary colors, we can go for our secondary colors. We can either choose to mix the primary colors to get these ones, to get the secondary colors, or we can just go straight for secondary colors. So, to make our life a little bit easier, let's get a little bit of secondary colors. So we got blue, we've got red, let's have some orange. Let's get some green. And the last one, purple. Okay, now that we have all of our colors, primary and secondary, and we made a little mess on the table, let's put this away. We can keep coloring. Okay, so let's choose the red first. Get a little bit of red to get us started on the snail body, snail shell. Here we go. A little bit tricky, this little part, but we can do it. Here we go. Let's do a little bit of red. Ta-da! Wash the brush a little bit. Doesn't have to be totally clean. We'll get some blue. Here we go. You can be as creative as you want. We can make little different shapes out of the colors as well. Okay. Let's get some orange. It's gonna be a very different snail. I don't think you've ever seen one like that before. And if you do, please take a photo and show us all. Go. Now let's go for purple instead. Start from this way. Make some purple shapes right here. And let's get some green. Almost at the center. We can go back again and use a little bit of red. Here we go. Ta-da! Our colorful snail is ready. Cool. Alright guys, that was lots of fun. Now, for the painting number 2, we are going to go with a dinosaur. Let's do a dinosaur. Now, to create a dinosaur, we position our hand slightly different. What we need to do is fold 3 fingers this way. We can turn the paper slightly that way and push the fingers down. So we're creating a shape of the head, body, and the tail. Let's take your pencil and trace over your fingers and over the body of the dinosaur and the head. Now, to make it a true dinosaur, we need to do a little bit of closing of the lines as well. Now, if this is the head, we're going to put a little bit of the eye on there as well. Or actually, we can make the head even bigger to make it a bit more exciting. Let's make it slightly taller. My thumb just got really big. And change the head slightly. So we've just extended the thumb and curved it a little bit to create a bit more of a face. Let's make a little smile, an eye, and we can cover this up. Now, if this is going to be the body, that's going to be a tail. We need to create some legs. I'm gonna go for short legs. So what we're going to do is round off one shape on the bottom this way, like a little U, and a little U on this side, and make a little belly for the dinosaur. Cool. So now that we have our dinosaur traced over, we're going to choose some colors. Now, what colors would we want to do? I think it's going to be cool to make it purple. Don't you think? Or maybe we should make it even more exciting. Let's choose purple and orange for the dinosaur today. Let's make some stripy dinosaur. Since we got some color already here, we are going to use the same colors. And if we need to, we can always add. That way we're not wasting any paint. Okay, I'm going to quickly dab a bit of purple on this one and make some big large stripes for the purple dinosaur. You'll see quickly how it's going to turn out if you follow me. Let's leave some spaces in between, and where the spaces are, we're going to put orange. It's going to be a very funky looking dinosaur. I think that one leg of the dinosaur could be a bit more purple than the other, so let's make it a little bit more purple, and we might leave a little bit of space for orange dinosaur toes. Okay, let's make one little hump of dinosaur purple. Get a little bit more. Now, if you want to stretch or make the paint go a bit further, you can always put a little bit of water in them, and the paint will come alive a bit more. So we can use that, or we can simply add a bit more color onto our palette. It's gonna be a interesting looking dinosaur. Now, you can always make the dinosaur whatever color you really want, but if you follow all of my colors, we're going to have a collection of very cool animals in all different colors. A little bit of water, a little bit more paint, it will make a stripy tail. It's gonna be a interesting tail, that one. Let's go down the leg a little bit and leave a little bit of space for orange toes. Okay. Now, everywhere where you saw a space, we are going to do orange. Okay, let's get some orange onto our little brush. Now first, let's dab it a little bit around the eye, so we don't cover the eye too much. So very gently paint around the eye to create a nice orange head. We'll leave a little bit of white space for the mouth, and we can create some red lips later. That's a cool head. Okay, now let's paint the rest of the body so we can make the dinosaur really cool. Here we go. I think that's really fun to do. Just painting purple and orange dinosaur. So we can turn the canvas or our painting around so it's easier for us to get to things, so you don't put your hand in the paint. And let's paint the belly and the rest of the body of the dinosaur. Here we go. Just a little bit more orange. Now, as you can see, this is where my tops of the knuckles were. So we can close it off by just simply joining those two lines a little bit more to make it a bit more of a one hump if you want to, or you can just stay with a interesting looking three humps. Here we go. And the toes. Don't worry if you are painting a little bit slower than I am. Just simply you can pause your video and just go at your own pace. Here we go. And the tail. Beautiful. And the last one. Little end of the tail. That's cool. Let's quickly wash our brush, dry it off, and a tiny bit of red for our mouth. Cool. If you really want to, you can get a tiny little bit of blue and just make blue eyes. Ta-da! A little bit of orange went into the blue, but that's okay. And here we go. We've got a really cool looking stripy purple and orange dinosaur made out of a hand. Now for our number 3 painting, using your hands, we're going to make a duck. Now how to make a duck? If you make your hand like this, your palm, we can turn the canvas up like this and place your hand straight down on the page. Now let's take your pencil, let's trace around. This will create a really cool feather section, and I'm going to straighten up the thumb a little bit so it curves this way a little bit, and we'll create the head of the duck. Cool, a little bit of tracing. We'll turn this around now and we'll close it off. We might just wipe a little bit there where the rest of the hand starts, and we'll just turn it around to join to here. So I wipe off a little bit on the bottom. Beautiful. So we've got our hand. Looks pretty good. Now all we gotta do is throw in a little bit of detail. So what we want to do is have a little beak. So to create a beak, what we need to do is quickly go out on a diagonal slightly, turn around and come back. We can create a little mouth if we want to, or just leave it without. Now we'll put a little eye right there. Now we'll do some wings. Let's choose about in the middle of the duck, make a little reverse letter C, just like that. Then we extend the top section, extend the bottom section, and close it off. We can also make a little bit of feathers by just creating a couple of lines towards the end, and we'll create a little bit of our wing. Okay. All we need is some legs. Just towards the front of the body, we're going to make one leg, 2 lines, and like a letter C again, but normal way. We'll go out and then come back around from the other line, and we'll close it off with a little bit of a wavy line, like my version of the duck leg. Second leg will go slightly behind, 2 lines, letter C going up, letter C going down with a space joining to the leg, and a wavy line. We've got a duck made out of a hand. Okay, so for today, the duck is going to be yellow. I know there's different colors of ducks, but let's do a yellow duck. Now, let's get a big brush because we got a big duck over here. Beautiful. Big brush. Lots of yellow. Now let's go around the head a little bit. We can come back with the smaller brush to do smaller around the eye part. But now first we're just gonna go around the body. I think I got a little bit of orange still on that brush. That's okay. Beautiful. A little bit of yellow. Go around the wing. And around the body. Take your time, make the duck really pretty and vibrant. Use a bit of water just to make the paint go a bit further, and just go around the lines. I'm leaving the wings for last, so you can put a little bit of texture. Follow with your brush around the rest of the body. If you need more paint, just get some more paint, or you can use some water. Running out of paint, I'm gonna use some water, drip a little bit, and it will make it spread. It's a really good thing about the acrylic paints. You can use water to create all different textures and shapes and make the paint go a bit further. Beautiful, because you don't need to use too much paint. That's what I mean. Now that we have the wing left, I'm gonna just pack the brush, a little bit more paint, and just go from the right hand side of the wing to the back in nice straight lines. That way it sort of makes a bit more of a textured look. Look a bit closer, more of a line, and that will make a bit of a shape of the wings, like feathers sitting on top of each other. Cool. Now let's take a little brush and just finish off the head of the duck. Here we go. Just a little bit around the eye again. I've never seen a duck with green eyes, but it doesn't mean that we can't be creative. Let's make a duck have green eyes. That's what it's all about with painting. You can create whatever designs you want, whatever colors. Just be creative, have some fun. Now for the legs, let's get some red. I think red legs. Here we go. It will make the duck stand out in a crowd. No, normally people paint legs in orange or so, but it's okay. Ta-da. What color beak would you like me to do? I think we'll go with the beak in orange this time. You gonna go with orange? I think it's fine with orange. Check this out. Beautiful. Our little duck is ready. Did you have fun with this one? That was really fun for me. Okay. Alright guys, and now we come into the project number 4 and 5. Now project 4 and 5 are going to be slightly different. We are not going to be tracing around the hand. We are going to be painting on the hand. So for the first project, we're going to make a stork. To make a stork, we need some paint, which is white. Okay, here we go. So we're going to make white on your hand. Now don't worry about making your hand all painted, because acrylic paint comes off your hands really quickly. All you gotta do is run your hands under hot water or warm water and rinse off the excess of the paint, and then just use a bit of soap to totally clean your hands and the paint will come off. Now obviously if you are worried about paint on your hands, you can always ask at the shop if the paints are non-toxic or whatever, but I've never had a problem using all these paints over the years. Okay, so now that we have our hand full of white paint, all we gotta do is place it on the paper. So we're going to make our stork stand up straight on that paper, so we'll twist the paper this way. So we position our hand like halfway through the paper and stamp. Here we go. You can spread your fingers a little bit to add a little bit more texture and move your hand around slightly and take it off. Just a little bit more there. Here we go. Okay, it's a little bit hard to see, but we're going to add a bit more detail in just 2 seconds. Now that your hands are clean, all you gotta do is add a little bit more detail. Just get a brush, dab a little bit more paint in the body of the stork, and just extend the fingers a little bit if you see any gaps. If there's any gaps, like in my fingers, just dab a little bit of paint to create a bit more fuller painting. Here we go. Got a little bit of space there in my neck design there. I'm just gonna dab a little bit of paint with a big brush to join to the body. Cool. Can you see it? Here we go. It's white on white paper, so it's a little bit harder to see. But to make it more stand out, what we need to do is add a bit of detail. So we'll take a smaller brush. Now we can add a little bit of black to create some details. So I'll take a little bit of my black from the big bottle. Here we go. Just a tiny little bit on my plate. Here we go. Probably don't need this one. Take the tiny little dab of the black, and what I want to do is add a little bit of definition to the feathers. So see where the fingers go in, we're going to just follow the line of the fingers, dab a little bit of paint, one more time on the bottom of the other finger, little dab, tiny dab, bottom of the other finger, and a little dab on the bottom of the palm. Also do a little dab and create your wings, your little feathers. So what I'm gonna do is go in the middle of the body and do a little C shape, reverse C shape, and extend it. Beautiful. If you mix in black with the white, it will create a bit more of a, what do you call it, silver grayish sort of definition. Okay, now who remembers what color storks have their legs? Red, that's right. So we're going to wash our brush. We'll dry it again on a piece of paper. Just make sure you always have a clean or semi-clean brush. We'll dab it into the red and we'll create legs. Now legs of the stork are quite tall, so we're gonna choose in the middle of the body and just go right down one leg with, I think, 3 fingers. toes. And the one leg is done. Now to make it a little bit more exciting, we can make the other leg bend a little bit. So let's make it bend. We'll dab a little bit of red again. And just a little bit to the left, we'll make a leg to go out on a diagonal. And come back. Beautiful. And have the toes come out again. It's gonna be a funky looking leg. Now what's missing in the picture? Yes, we need a beak. So the storks need to have a long beak. So put a little long beak on the front of the stork's head with a little point at the very end. Okay, and the last thing, we'll make eyes for the stork. Now we've chosen yellow, and just put a little dab in the middle here. Cool. Here's our stork. Alright guys, so now it's time for the last project using your hand, and this is going to be an exciting one. Let's make a zebra. To make a zebra, we're going to create a picture that goes like this. We're going to open one finger and dab your hand on the canvas. So what we need to do is paint our hand. So what we're going to do today with the paint for the zebra, we need white. We're going to do some funky design, not straight lines, but like curvy little different shape lines. Here we go. Get it a bit closer to the camera so you can see. We're going to do some interesting design. Here we go. Make sure you put a lot of paint so that way your picture will end up being a bit better. Maybe have no gaps then. Make different shapes. And a bit more on the front here as well. Now the nose of the zebra is black, so we'll just make sure that we get black on there. But I have a bit more paint here. Just a little bit of extra paint everywhere. I'm excited to see what it's going to look like. I bet you can't wait to. Okay, so now that we have our whole hand in white, what we need is black. Maybe let's use the same brush. Just quickly wash it off. If you have a second big brush, just use that instead. Otherwise, you just can wash this one, dab it on the paper, and it's ready to go. Okay, let's get some black. Make sure we got black on the front of the fingers, because that's going to be very important. Let's put black in here and in there. Here we go, and lots of black in here. Is my hand looking silly already? I think it is. Here we go. Gotta make sure they have lots of paint everywhere. Now, I think we're ready to stamp. What do you think? Okay, you remember how to put it in on the paper? So you position the paper upwards, and we're gonna make the hand turn around. Lift it up slightly like this on the angle. Open up the mouth and go. Ready? Ta-da! Move it around a little bit, get the paint off your hands, and take it off. What? Look at that. That's a weird looking thing. Okay, I'm gonna wash my hands quickly. Go and wash yours, and I'll see you back in a minute. Alright guys, now that your hands are clean, you still got some paint on your brush. Let's just finish off the design. Let's just join some of the lines that didn't work out, because your palm sometimes it just dips in here, so you won't be able to join it normally. Just have a little bit of paint joining around. These are your fingers. Let's put a little bit on the black. Let's join the face a little bit, just like that. And let's see if we can just join your little finger a little bit with the top of the mouth, like that. There you go. Almost there. Now a little bit of details here. We're just going to make a little bit of hair over here. And a little black eye. Okay. Now we need to wash our brush again and get some more white. Just dry it off. Here we go. Let's get some more white in there. Here we go. Just join some of those spaces that didn't have the color. Dab, dab, dab. A little bit more white. Dab, dab, dab. Put some here, put some there. And just finish off the zebra. Maybe a little bit of hair right there to make the zebra have a spiky head. Cool? I think that's pretty cool. Here we go. Just a little bit of the zebra go there. That's a pretty cool zebra. It's got a black eye, black mouth. I like it. Hope you enjoyed your class today, and I'll see you in class number 3.